While Social Media Monster was doing some film festival screenings, the subject of the film had gone on Twitter Live and had submitted some questions.
We received these questions from Twitter.
My question for the director is, when you learned that I was actually talking about Perry Township and that I was actually in Perry Township that day, I had showed photos of a ring that I purchased in Perry Township. I posted photos of a receipt from a Buffalo Wild Wings in Perry Township. It said Perry Township. I showed credit card records from Perry Township. I posted all of this. You were aware of all of this. Considering I was talking about Perry Township the entire time, and that I didn't send these emails, and even in those emails it doesn't say Perry Nuclear Power Plant, why is North Perry Village in your film?
Okay, I have never seen any of these postings he's referring to. I never saw receipts. I never saw a ring. I never saw anything that just said Perry, Ohio. The reason North Perry is in the film is because, well, the emails that I personally received referred to Perry, North Perry. The FBI interviewed me about threats to the North Perry nuclear power plant. So the film states he denies that he sent those emails, but that's up to the audience to decide, did he or did he not send them or not.
Question number 2 for the Social Media Monster Q&A. Why, as things occur that change the narrative of your film and also disagree with the opinion that you state throughout the film and that you're trying to reinforce throughout the film, why don't you ever vet any of those things, and why don't you ever edit the film to let the audience know that some of these things have been discredited? So do you feel that your film should be considered credible based on the fact that you don't make any effort to edit it or correct it when new information is presented to you? Why do you selectively pick and choose what you decide should be vetted, is my question.
We have re-edited this film almost continuously over the past year as new information comes to light, when new evidence shows up, new audio recordings, new screenshots, whatever. We've been re-editing this film perpetually. We're on, I think, on revision 17 or 18 at this point, based on new information. So we do re-edit the film all the time when new information shows up. As for the film being discredited, I have not received anything that's discredited the film. Matthew just saying that it's discredited, or Matthew saying other evidence exists, nothing's been presented. We've seen nothing. We have requested multiple times, hey, if you've got screenshots or video or anything, receipts, like he says, we'd be happy to incorporate and change the movie. But every time we have asked, he's either said no or says, I'm saving it for my own documentary. And so he never provides it, but likes to say that we're not changing the film when we do change the film. I'm the director of the film. I get to decide what is or isn't in the film, and that's just how movies are made.
This is my third question for the Social Media Monster Q&A. Now, Mr. Ross will not let me see the film, and so the question that I had, even for Dr. Phil Show or everybody, is, what is my scam? You've accused me of being a con man, a fraud, and a scammer for many years, but no one's ever been able to figure out what that scam is and what it is I was trying to accomplish, because all I did was end up, having a net worth of roughly $2.6 million at one point.
Okay, I have not been privy to any evidence that his net worth was anything near $2.6 million. I have never seen bank account statements or anything that would add up to a dollar amount that high. Some might consider that fraudulent. Nothing in the film is made up from thin air. Nothing. From his own social media postings, he said he was collecting Social Security disability throughout that entire time through sometime in early 2019. Some might say it's fraud to have a value of 2.6 million and still collect disability, because then it's most likely he's not reporting that income, because you can't make that kind of money and still collect on disability. The address he uses on his website for his business, Matthew Burdick LLC, is listed as San Francisco on Fillmore Street, but there's no evidence he's ever ran a business from there, and he's never had a residence there. So that's fraudulent. In the documentary itself, Matthew had his business partner, Alex, give Austin $500, but then wanted the refund back to himself. In the conversation I personally had with Alex, he was not aware of that. So that's pretty fraudulent. I mean, I could keep going, but I think I made my point.
Peter John Ross basically found me on the internet in 2012 while I was homeless, and I was making my later released 2013 film, Blame Reagan.
During this nearly 17 minutes video, Matthew never asked a question except what was written in the tweet.
I am not participating in any SEO campaigns to disparage Matthew Burdick. So I'm not participating in those things. There's no evidence of something I'm not actually doing. I'm sorry, I just do not trust that Matthew Burdick is suffering intense emotional distress, because one day he'll say it's not bothering him at all. The next day he'll say he's deeply bothered by it. And I don't trust anything that he says without some kind of third-party verification, some other additional evidence to support it. I just don't think. He's publicly stated many times that, this is all some homage to Hunter S. Thompson or an Andy Kaufman style prank, and that we're all too stupid to see it. So I just don't know what to think. I still have no idea what to believe in that regard.
Question number 5, and to me, this is the single most important question that can possibly be asked of Peter John Ross. The question for Peter John Ross is, why am I, Matthew Burdick, the only person trying to find a journalist to vet this film? Why don't you find a journalist to vet this? Now, do they have the ability to find a journalist that's unbiased? Don't you think somebody should hold both of us accountable and ask us to prove our stories? I'm willing to do that. Peter John Ross is not. And I want to know directly from Peter John Ross, why are you afraid to contact an unbiased third-party journalist, and why am I not? Just to try to hide the fact that we're covering up the destruction of an activist who uncovered this extraordinarily massive scandal.
We have sent the documentary to multiple journalists all over the country, usually in relation to the film festival screenings. One of the co-producers is a journalist that's had no dealings whatsoever with Matthew Burdick, and he's kept us on the straight and narrow. He's requested changes in the edit that we've made because he felt it was too biased. So we have done exactly that. But as for why the media may or may not be writing about it, usually it relates to the film's not publicly available to the world yet, so there's no real reason to write about a film that no one can see unless you're at a film festival in that city at that time. I am not remotely afraid of the film being vetted, researched by journalists. We did intense amounts of research, verification, and everything, and I'm pretty confident we'll stand up to any scrutiny.
Originally, there was a different question number 3.
This film is a piece of shit. It's been running through the festivals since last March. It has not made it into any major festival, not even as a selection. The only festivals that it's reached are these pseudo-festivals all over the world, like the Iraqi Explosion Festival or any number of other completely disreputable festivals that have virtually no audience. Considering all of that, why don't you just release the film? Why keep trying to adorn it with worthless laurels and showing it at theaters where 6 people show up or 40 people or whatever? You're directly damaging the film by showing it at these places to 10, 20, 30, 40 people. Why not just release the film? Are you a coward? Do you know the film is filled with lies and you can't stomach, big stomach, you know, the thought of the world attacking you for being just as big of a piece of shit as your film is? What is it? Why haven't you released this film? Nobody cares about your career. Nobody's watching anything you do. Literally nobody gives a fuck about you or anything you show up, you do these Q&As, and I mean, you even get people that you know to ask questions because nobody even gives a fuck enough to ask questions. And so all of this is just sort of I don't know why you're doing this. There's not a lot of reason to do any of this. So why don't you just release the film?
The main reason we don't release the film is we're still in the middle of the film festival circuit, which means if it's publicly available, they won't take it. It's against the rules of virtually every film festival. If it's available online for free, they won't play it at a film festival. That's pretty much it. Any chance to sit in a dark room with a bunch of strangers and watch a movie you made is just a gift. So for me personally, I don't care if there's 3 or 4 people or 400. So far, as of right now, February 2022, we have been an official selection at 25 film festivals so far. Not everybody's going to like your movie, and that's okay. Every single person's opinion is valid. Even Matthew's opinion about the film is valid. I just want to say thank you for taking the time to even watch the movie.